you can donate to the rec program, but it's not going to go to us because we're not recognized. So I don't know. There's got to be some kind of a campaign that we can put together to, rally the troops. I was kind of hoping that the Linda and Rainey winning that national recreation event for their little video would put some pressure on this group here. So
Yes.
The Long Beach VA is very lax. When I was back at the national festival, which was similar to, well, it was the same as what Linda went to this year. I went to Kalamazoo and Des Moines. Both of those facilities have incredible programs where they support the therapeutic programs 100%. Long Beach does nothing in comparison. So it's just the Long Beach VA is really lax in getting support for the therapeutic programs.
You bring up a good point. It's several years ago, there was a national conference on therapeutic programs and recreational therapy. And it was held at the Los Angeles VA, and it was like 3 days, and Linda and I attended that. And I made a presentation about using photography as a therapy, and everyone thought, oh, that's a great idea. But I thought getting exposed on a national level like that would see some results, but nothing came out of it.
The lapidary gentleman just retired, and they were looking for another person to go into the lapidary as support. And one of the friends of mine, who is a lapidary expert from the Orange County group, applied for the position. He worked at the VA for, well, he just retired this year, for 30 years. He was not given the position because he had whatever, but the person who they gave the position to has zero experience in lapidary. Zero. He has no idea what a rock is. So this is the way they support their programs. It's not who or what, it's not what you know, it's who they want to get rid of. Now, I said get rid of. So this gentleman was in another position in the VA, and that particular person did not want that person in his department, so they move him out. And that's how they move people around within the VA. And that's a known fact. Gentleman I knew down in Phoenix, the same way. He complained about that all the time. It's the way the VA is run.
Yeah, that's why I've kind of favored, and Doug knows about this, about some conversations I had, maybe some other people, is why don't we just forget the VA? We can probably meet for free at a civic center, a library, somewhere where get a conference room. It'd be better than whatever the VA is going to get us. Yes, we can still say we're only going to support vets and admit vets, but we can do it outside the VA, as we've proven for almost the last 3 years. And I think we've gotten better results with this Zoom class than we ever did when we met together. Now, having said that,
I kind of go along with that, but I think the idea was that we were supporting veterans who lived there at the facility. A lot of the wheelchair veterans would not be able to attend. I'm not saying that we can't make some kind of arrangement where us more able-bodied veterans meet together outside and maybe have events. I keep getting notices that no outside visitors are allowed at the VA yet. So none of those programs are operational. But yeah, we could pick a library, we could pick a park. I asked down at the Long Beach Senior Center there on 4th Street, they have conference rooms. They would open up a schedule for us. That's not very conducive to parking and stuff like that. It's kind of a seedy area in Long Beach. But there are other facilities around that I'm sure we could find. How about VFW halls or stuff like that, you know?
That's true. Well, that's something we can continue to talk about. We're approaching 3:05 right now. But the wheelchair, you're right, we did get some wheelchair. Now, another factor in when we did meet at the VA, which is nice, but it didn't help as far as teaching photography, is several people used it as just a social event, to meet up with their friends and so forth.
Well, the room that they gave us, everybody walked through it all the time.
Yes. Yeah, it's ridiculous the space they give us. All right, it's 3:05, and what we've decided today is Kevin has put together a presentation, worked very hard on it, so we're gonna let him do that right after the announcement, and then we'll do a photo review on what's been posted. So, in a discussion with Doug, we decided the quick tips are going to be on Wednesday, one a week. Okay. So first of all, let's ask Catherine and Lynn if they have any announcements.
I don't have anything.
I don't have anything.
Okay, I'm going to hit, I've already hit record. I'm going to hit share screen.
This is
Oh,
Larry.
no, wrong share screen. Sorry.
Steve,
Yeah.
this is Larry. I posted the Huntington Beach concert series. It goes on Sunday at 5 o'clock, and I posted it on the Facebook page. For those interested in any particular type of music, you can go. It's a free concert.
Okay, thank you. All right, Kevin, you can start, and your screen, you can share screen.
Okay. So I was asked to do the weekly challenge, and I put together something on contrast. So I'm going to do a short 12-slide presentation and then a little Lightroom demo.
Oh, great.
So what is contrast? It's the degree of difference between the elements that form an image. High contrast is crisp, sharp, and well-defined. Low contrast being soft, smooth, and a little blurry. Photographers balance the technical elements involved in the photography of composition, color, depth of field, and contrast. And so I'm going to use contrast as one of the basis of photography. It's the difference between the darkest and lightest tones in black and white photos, and it's the colors that stand out in a color photo, or how they stand out. Oh, went the wrong way, sorry. Oh, come on now. I'm going backwards. How did I go backwards? So contrast quality, it's just right, deep darks and white lights with everything in between. It's the subject is well defined against the background, and the colors pop. So the way we take pictures is how we end up with this. We have to kind of take a look at what kind of contrast we're going to end up with when we set ourselves up. We have to look at the lighting, the time of day. Of course, we know about the golden hour and the blue light, and early morning gives low angles with dark, shadowy looks. Midday is sort of a harsh light from above, kind of mutes everything out as far as character. Evening light is warm, glowing with pleasant shadows. We have to look at the source of the light. Where is it coming from? Can be light from the back, illuminates the subject greater, giving it a flatter appearance. Light from the side shows the shadows, gives a better depth of the image, creates more details. A light from the back of the subject creates silhouettes. So we're going to kind of have an idea on where we're going to take our picture from, what we're looking at. The position of the subject is critical. If the sun is full, it gives a high contrast, sharp color definition. Partial sun, more smooth lines, color transition with some accent shadows. And then shade provides a low contrast with blurred lines and colors.
Okay.
Another thing to consider with contrast is during setup is the color of the subject and the background and the surrounding colors. This is using primary colors that are complementary. Can get higher contrast, pick analogous colors to have low contrast. So if you wanted lower contrast, you'd have all the greens, or all purples would be low contrast. Think about both the subject and the background. You can have a green person with a shirt on, and if it's up against a tree, you're going to have low contrast. If you put a yellow shirt on that same person, it's going to have a higher contrast. And then exposure and other camera settings can also affect how the contrast is portrayed. I've taken a picture from this VLO guide here showing how much contrast is obtained just by changing the aperture and keeping the ISO, or not the aperture, the shutter speed. So we get the first one there with 1/250th, very low, continuing on up to 1/4 as long. A lot of light is, the contrast is very little. So you see the 1/60th there and the 1/15th, they have more contrast.
Okay.
And then the depth of field controlled by the f-stop or the aperture. That breaks things up, makes your subject stand out very sharp and focused with a blurry background. That's a good form of contrast. So we've experienced that. A lot of us have started using different f-stops in our flowers, and both Steve and Doug have talked about that many times. So that depth of field is an important contrast feature. So then once we've taken the picture, we can control contrast by going to post-production and adjusting some of the sliders. So I'll do a brief show here. Got a picture up in Lightroom. And this is one of the gables from a house that we showed. I'm going to try and get this over to the other side here. So when I took this picture, it was a very nice day, and really the contrast here is really nice, but we can change the contrast by going to black and white, back to color. We can change the exposure in here just by darkening it and getting less contrast, or we can whiten it up and get less contrast. So you're starting to lose the lines in the white areas. And then they actually have a contrast slider, which is pretty nice. kind of pulls things together, darkens the shadows, highlights the whites. And then they have a highlights slider, which is unique. So can pull that to the left. I think Steve was saying he starts off with his highlights always over to the left, if I remember.
Yes, I do.
correctly.
And shadows all the way to the right. And then I use the whites. No, that all the way to the left. And bring shadows all the way to the right. And
So
then
that opened up the, kind of got rid of the shadows, and then you use whites and blacks to fill it in.
Yeah. Then I watched the histogram with whites and blacks. So that's just one way of doing it, but
Yeah.
it's a way I like doing it.
Uh-huh.
You can see the effect right there.
Yeah. So it's just, and then contrast can be controlled by texture. It's sharper, darker. And they're all of these things they're just manipulating the white and the dark spaces in the picture. Clarity. Gets a lot of definition in there. And then dehaze. It's just darkening everything up, just on a general basis. So it's all on, what do you want? This is a very brief discussion about contrast. Obviously, the photography is something that we all try and deal with on a regular basis, and contrast is what we look for. And how much or how little do we want? There's college courses just on lighting in photography or aperture and what kinds of lenses you use. So anyway, that's contrast. It was a pleasure. Click out of this, and
That was great. That was, if you have if you have that as a PowerPoint.
no, it's one of these keynote.
Either you can I think you should post that onto our shared hard drive under material, or send it to me and I will do that
All right.
as a reference material. It's good. It was a good presentation.
Yeah, some pretty photos. I really love that, those trees in the fog. Is that your picture?
Yes. Yeah, the one with the sun shining through there.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, that's been one of my favorites. And it was an iPhone photo.
Let me go to our Facebook Long Beach.
Thank you, Kevin.
Yeah, thanks a
Oh, you're
lot.
welcome.
Let me make sure this is refreshed. And so let's look at some recent postings. Oh, this is from Stephen Foreman. Tell me where were you shooting, Stephen, and what
This
did you
is
see
at,
there that you wanted to photograph?
Belmont Shore. On the beach.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's got a lot of contrast.
yeah, it's got a lot of, looks like the sun was on your left.
Yes.
So I think that gives it a lot more depth look than if it was behind you or the silhouette. I think you would have lost a lot of the 3D effect.
He's got the rule of trees there.
The rule of trees.
Rule of 3 trees.
Come on. Why is it telling me no? Something, Facebook is not responding. Hang on, let me start over. Wow.
Nice.
And this is
Wow.
at the Patient Garden this morning.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh,
That's a beautiful shot, Steve. Good job.
Thanks.
Very good.
You were,
That a bougainvillea?
I don't know the plant.
I think it is, yeah. I agree with that.
Not with
and-
those yellow flowers there. I don't think so.
No.
Okay, this is a, what I think is probably the most unused park in Orange County. It's Gomez Park, and I've never seen it. They've got a swimming pool, other facilities and stuff, and I've never seen anybody there ever. But from that park, you're looking across a river channel, and this long area has this. This would hate to call this graffiti. This is actually pretty artistic.
Mhm.
And I think it was six. This is 6 shots stitched together.
Wow.
Okay.
And this must be what Larry was talking about.
Yep, that's the concerts in the park, 5 o'clock on Sundays. If you see something you want to look at, it's free. Park around the library area. It's pretty busy up there parking, and just walk down the hill and just take yourself a bottle of wine, some lunch or dinner, and sit back and enjoy it. And take your own lounge chair or something.
I don't see Led Zeppelin or the Stones.
No, they can't afford them.
Whoa,
Oh. Okay,
it's another one I haven't seen yet.
That's some of the art on display at the Descanso Gardens. We went there yesterday.
Very, very nice. Can you tell us a little bit more about how you shot that?
Well, I just aimed the camera. I'm shooting, it's overhead. It's about 15 feet above me. And there's another one that gives you a better idea of the kind of color and materials this artist uses. It's coming up. That's Descanso Gardens.
And what was your main subject here? You were thinking of
I think that gazebo there,
the gazebo?
yeah.
Hmm.
Okay, this is
Oh,
yeah, the kind of thing he does. There's not a whole lot of it on view. I'd say there are half a dozen outdoor installations, and then there's some art that is displayed in a couple of small galleries that's quite different from this.
Hmm.
was that at Descanso?
Yeah. This is in one of the small galleries. This is my granddaughter. She, they allow you to touch the art. You can even move things around. So she pulled this hair down over her dark hair.
This is really good.
Yeah.
Really good.
And
Oh,
this is inside another one. This entire room is lined with fluffy pink fabric.
purple dirt and orange rocks. Well, since Paul's not here to talk about this, what I see is the way he composed this is the 2 opposing diagonals, which I think it really works well. What do you think, Doug?
Yeah, I believe it's pointing up toward the sky if you follow both diagonals.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Go.
the almost burnt
Mhm.
soils of the front and going into the lighter shade of gray in the beginning of the color, and then the strong, bold colors, the higher contrast, as Kevin was just talking about, up towards the top.
Yeah.
Just your eyes flow right through that.
Do you think this would help if it had a little bit of vignetting?
I think on the bottom right, it would have helped. Yes, darken
Yeah.
that section right there.
Yeah, you're right. That
Your
could
eye
be-
kind of gets drawn back to a lighter section, and as you follow that bottom diagonal, you have a tendency to be drawn back to that lighter corner.
I think so too.
I spent a lot of time on this one because there was a person sitting just to her left and that ruined the picture. So I just kind of darkened everything.
Hmm.
She was pretty far away. I was using extended 200 millimeter zoom, all the way extended. And but I think this could be a great picture if we had, could get this I did surreptitiously, but if you arrange with somebody as pretty as that to be in the picture and you could take your time and, maybe move in closer, I think it'd be really good.
John, do you think it's a little dark, particularly over where the woman is?
Yeah, I think it's too dark in that area. Lighten that up.
Uh,
Yeah, you could use a brush just on her or select subject in Lightroom and it would pick
Mm.
her out.
Yeah, I did, but I guess I didn't lighten it enough.
Okay, as best as I can tell, this is an early 1950s Case tractor. At first I thought it might be an Alice Chalmers, but the more I look at that grill, I think Case. Does everyone agree?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Wouldn't know
This
the
is-
difference.
This is in Irvine Park. And it's pretty much rusted and sunk in place. It would be a major project to restore that. I think
Nice.
Kevin had the same wheel, right, in your presentation?
Mhm.
Almost.
Yeah, from a different angle.
Mine was a dry one.
I didn't have a, well, it doesn't show the comments, but anyhow, I didn't have a tripod, but there was a post to put my camera on, and I shot this at about 1/25th of a second. And this is a slightly different angle and much higher shutter speed. And this was inspired, I was inspired to take this picture by Catherine's. Catherine has two really dynamite tree pictures. And that was on my mind, and I saw this fallen log. So it inspired me to do that. And I thought this was a very interesting tree to photograph, but I was concerned that I wouldn't be able to. There wasn't much contrast. Speaking of contrast, it was pretty mono. So this is probably a little bit exaggerated as the colors, but I had to do that to give it some character. And I love this picture on one hand. These are the horses that are available for riding. And I've been around horses most of my life, and they have a lot of character. They're very social animals. They're very opinionated.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, these are all tied up and people ride them, and the eye to me kind of speaks of a broken spirit.
Mhm.
So this is
This
oh yeah,
concept.
this is John Butterfly.
Mhm.
This is outstanding. I love this picture. Really good.
Where'd you take this, John?
That's at Descanso as well.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
oh,
Got the focus.
Mhm.
very good.
This is Descanso as well.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think Doug summed that up in one word. Wow. Now, I'm going to guess, and everyone else is able to, I have the feeling he set up some lights here,
Yeah,
this effect. Lighting up the foreground. Looks like even off to the right, maybe going across this way, and then the red lights. That'd be my guess. And what is, and this is a talk about contrast. Look at that. He's still got that contrast. I'm going to assume he's still in our galaxy when he shot this. So
This is
Any-
almost the best time of year to shoot the Milky Way right now.
I love it when they show the Milky Way in parallel with the hill slope going up.
Yeah. The leading lines follow each other.
yeah.
Yep.
Okay, here I was just playing around. This plant is, I was shooting around my house, but this plant is just over the property line in my neighbor's yard. And no matter what angle I shot it, it would have a horrible background except right with the brick wall directly behind it. So I went for the lens aperture at f4, which is the widest that would do. And so I'd throw the brick wall out of focus. That's the most depth of field I can get in this situation. So,
Well, the
matter of
brick
fact, you can
wall
see it's
adds-
starting to fall off even on the back leaves here.
I think the brick wall adds to it because of the different colors in the brick wall add to the colors in the plant.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah, the browns and the reds are very close.
And this, is that a, what, how you say it? Palmaria.
Palmaria.
We have a huge Palmaria tree.
That's what they make leis out of in Hawaii.
Oh,
And it, again, it's right along our property line. It's very difficult. I have to move around a lot to shoot where I have a background that isn't distracting. So,
But you did.
Taking that time really made that photograph pop
yeah.
by getting that background out of the way.
In this case, this is a flower. 4th of July, we had a party, and don't feel bad if you weren't invited. But several people brought flowers, and I went out and I set this on top of our air conditioning unit
oh,
with the painted stucco blue wall behind it. And then I selected subject, inversed it, and just darkened. I didn't go all the way. I wanted to keep a little bit of the pattern that would show up. So it wasn't all black. I think that worked pretty good.
Very nice.
Rainey posted this. We haven't seen her since her mother died, have we?
no.
This is her mother, and this is Elmer.
Mhm.
Oh, evidently, yeah, she says here, these are pictures she ran across when she was organizing cell phone pictures, so.
So this is down on Terminal Island. There's a small marina there. And people, I just like the reflections and the pink and the orange colors, pink and yellow colors.
Yeah.
And the reflections make this picture.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what it was all about.
Get a little wet trying to get them out of the rack.
Yeah.
Mhm.
These guys cut my, but they also, they're all looking in different directions, like they can't decide which way to go. And except the guy in the far right, he's giving me the evil eye. I think he doesn't like me shooting their picture.
Yeah, I have the feeling the reason these two might be having a conversation, but these guys are checking traffic,
Yeah.
oncoming traffic before they move out. So, nice shot.
That's Seal Beach, Main Street is Seal Beach. So
Oh.
is this.
Yeah,
see
there- I've noticed in Seal Beach, a lot of bicyclists go through there.
They do. The background, the red, that's one of the original red car trolleys from, it's they just have one on display there. It's a sort of museum. I don't know if you can go inside it, but
This reminds me of that movie. I can't think of the name of it right now. Takes place in Minnesota. I guess nobody knows what I'm talking about.
All of America.
No, where the guy throws the guy into the tree.
oh, I know. It'll come to me in a minute.
Yeah. Now here, Kevin.
You're not thinking of Fargo, are you?
That's it. Yeah.
Fargo, yes. Okay.
It's not Minnesota, by the way.
Minnesota. And let me go back here. Let me start this in the right. Oops. I was looking for well, this started with Doug's photo, and then Kevin wanted to do something about the brick wall. So I took up the challenge, and this was my version. And this is my color one that I took. This is one I took myself, but at a different angle and different day. This is my black and white version. And then this is John's version. Let me see. Okay. Who's your friend, John?
That's my neighbor, my backyard scrub blue jay, they're called, I believe. And they raised a couple. I think this might be one of the ones that they raised in the tree right next to my yard. And I've been feeding them and watering them, and they're becoming very friendly. I can get within about 4 or 5 foot of them and get some decent pictures.
Wow, that's great.
And that's
This is
just that's the same picture. I just chopped the other one to make it bring it in a little closer.
Okay. Now here we go. This is the one that Doug posted, and he had a lot to say about it. And then Kevin down here, can you see on the right what Kevin
Yeah.
did? And he cut it completely. I cropped it here and then used a brush to darken the bricks. So it's every version of this picture is great. I think this just shows how there's an infinite number of possibilities on how you can present something.
Well, the best part of the picture is the gas price was 0.
Yeah.
And this is one of the shots that inspired me to shoot a couple of trees from
Very nice.
Catherine. What caught your eye here, Catherine?
The color. It doesn't really show up in that picture the way it did. The color on the right, the branch at the bottom that goes to the right. Yeah, it doesn't show up the way it did when on Facebook.
Okay, it's also a very interesting shape there that you captured.
Yeah.
Would changing the contrast help that any?
I can try it.
Maybe just warming it up a little bit to bring the orange out just a tiny bit more.
Yeah, either through the white balance or with the colors. And
That was
this
the
is really
original.
good. That's your original of 3 trees?
Yeah, there's a cropped one.
Oh, the cropped
Yeah.
one is much, I love the cropped one.
Yeah,
And you're at a pretty good angle here. It shows the trees.
Yeah.
oh, very-
Huntington Beach, 4th of July parade.
I would have never guessed.
actually,
I don't know how you can ride a bicycle in flip-flops.
yeah,
It's a California thing, don't you know?
This is really cool.
Yeah, this poor little dog.
Like,
Looks so forlorn.
it's much better having this girl here in the photo, and I just,
Yeah.
It is. You
it
can
really
tell
makes
it's a parade and they're moving forward, yeah.
yeah.
Great use
Okay,
of
this-
selective focus.
This is before, and I was at Balsa Chica. And when I originally shot this, I thought this bird was very majestic and I thought it was kind of neat. But then when I put it on the computer, I didn't like it. And I also didn't have the exposure right. So I thought, well, what can I do with it? And this is what I did with it.
Very
Now,
nice.
this is highly manipulated. But so call this one artistic. I put in a sky, put in more reflections, really bumped up vibrance and saturation here. Worked on the bird,
Mhm.
almost dissected him or
How did you change the perspective? I mean, it looks like you're your camera's at a lower, closer to the water, no? Maybe not.
well, it's just, I think it's just cropping that did that.
Yeah,
Uh,
okay, yeah.
Mhm.
This is pretty cool.
Mhm.
Some, but not more than one. Some people went to a lot of trouble. These can't be easy to build.
No, I think there's one for each Brothers Navy rocket too.
Wow.
There's 4 or 5 of them. It's great.
And I'm willing to bet this guy has a Santa Claus outfit too.
Right, yeah.
Wonder how he dresses on Secretary's Day.
Yeah.
True definition of an
Yes.
introvert.
Might see him in Long Beach this weekend.
What I liked about this one, the guy in the cart is also wearing roller skates. And they were speeding down the parade route.
They both have the same shorts almost.
Oh, yeah, they do.
are the
I
same.
noticed that, yeah.
Not exactly the same, but they're both pink.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Actually, what are these called? They're
Rollerblades.
rollerblades.
Uh-huh.
I tried those once, took me several days to recover.
It's really nice. You have the flag in the background of them too.
Yeah, I like the expression of this guy. He
Oh,
looks.
yeah. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Good call there, Captain Larry. Yeah, that's,
This guy looks so bored with it.
Oh,
He's probably saying his wife dressed him today.
I call this cold weather soldiers on standby. I saw these parked up against this fence and thought it was interesting. That's it. Afternoon light. Kevin?
Pretty.
That's just outside my back door here. Was trying to find the best time. I took several pictures over the course of an hour.
Hmm.
this one turned out to be the best.
Mhm.
Would be interesting to see if you put those all in a collage to see the difference of the light as it changed during the day.
Yeah, it didn't really change that much. Unfortunately, there's a hedge that belongs to the people behind me, so the sun, it created a shadow rather early in the evening. I was hoping to get the sun on it a little bit later in the day when it was more golden, but
This, where'd you find this model, John?
She's some people I knew there that I kind of bumped into by accident, and she's this friend's niece. She's an actress. She does bit parts in movies.
Now that you say that, I've noticed that people like actresses and in the entertainment field, they really know how to throw a pose.
Oh yeah, she's good. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well. In a galaxy far, far away.
I was
Catherine,
gonna say
you,
that looks like that same picture with Milky Way, because that's the hill on the left.
yeah, this was probably, earlier in the evening.
Yeah, I think so.
And T-Rex.
Yeah,
Right in your backyard, Catherine?
no, that's down the street.
Ah,
You want to tell us what happened here, Larry?
Yeah, I was in the park on last Sunday. I was leaving, and I noticed the owl was up in the tree by the library. And so he's at least 50, 60 feet away. And most of the time I was looking at its butt, and apparently I just caught him looking around back at me. So you got all the branches between us, so that's why it sort of drabbed out. But you know, his eyes and stuff like that came out pretty good, so I decided to post it.
Well, thank you for posting. Let's see here. Ah,
Eating a crayfish.
Yeah,
I'm seeing the same birds that we saw, Steve.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
well, Huntington Beach Park,
Yeah,
Yeah,
over on the Slater side.
Mhm.
One of the most beautiful birds you'll ever want to see next to a peacock.
this is your best shot.
Is it?
sandpiper.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
good.
good.
Well, I have the duck in there too. That's those long legs and all.
Yeah,
Lovely, really great.
this is good too.
Excellent.
You didn't, these are hard to photograph because there's so much white. You want to be, we might even have a class on exposure and with bright highlights and stuff. Doug and I were talking about that.
That's minimal processing too, so it just came out.
Yeah,
This is taking off,
yeah, taking off.
and I liked it because of the reflection.
Right. Very
Oh,
nice.
yeah. Yeah.
Coming in for a landing, he's just about ready to hit the perch.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And again, right at the touchdown.
Mhm.
These
They were
are,
just sucking up the whatever it was in that water, these three ducks. It was just interesting. Nothing was bothering them. They just sucking up whatever they were sucking up. Algae or something in there. Now, he spotted his prey, and so down went, and I caught him when his head was below the surface. So you see the splash.
Hmm.
And then he pulled his head out, so you can see the water splashing all around his head.
Mhm.
See all those droplets, which I thought was kind of nice. to see
Mhm.
the drop.
This is Belmont Shore.
Okay, it was nice. I like it with the background arc window in there.
Oh, this is really cool.
So the beach at Belmont Shore.
That's a great shot. Oh, my goodness.
Right.
Yeah, with the dog in the back.
Yeah.
And the ship in the background and
Yep.
and your subject is
water.
all in the sand. So, I mean, sand background, that worked out really well.
Yeah, looks nice.
And here, I like the way the dog is
Yeah.
leaning forward.
Yeah. Its head in the wind.
Yeah.
Ears put back.
Yeah.
Again, the ship in the background.
I like this one too. This is really good street photography. The others
Yeah,
work
she's
too.
got it. On the left has a big head.
Yeah.
Right.
There's another, this one I really like because of you managed to catch a minimalistic background and it's a nice contrast. It's not too dark, it's not too bright. That worked out well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice.
I was halfway up the side of a cliff there on the stairway.
You were on steroids?
Yeah, on the stairway.
Oh,
Nice.
this is when on a Sunday morning, I went to a car show in Anaheim. And I asked this guy, he was sitting there and he looked interesting. And I just, as I often do in street photography, I started talking to him and I said, are you familiar with the thinking man statue or whatever, the thinking statue? He says no, and I tried to explain it to him, but he didn't understand. But this is the picture I got.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that's like that first one was obviously cropped in. This is the way my brain works.
It's the shape of the coyote,
Yeah,
dinosaur.
the electric coyote.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's hard to capture that way.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. This is, in this one I was trying to show, this is the original out of the camera. And that's, I just converted the raw image with no adjustments to a JPEG. And then this is, this should be the last version, but this is where I really cropped in and made the background black. And this is the one I posted, on Instagram, I think. I think this is better than,
Yes.
this is the best of the three. But his eyes, look at those eyes.
You can almost make a picture just cropping into his left eye there.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, only 2 people seen it, but both of them liked it. Oh, that's good. This is better.
Good.
This is a before and after. This is the after we were talking about our cropping challenge.
Uh-huh.
This is up in Morro Bay. this squirrel was not actually eating that peanut shell, he was sniffing it.
Hmm.
It's a little young baby.
Yeah,
Yes.
well, I like the crop because that stone on the other one kind of distracts from it before you crop it out.
Right, you're right.
The sharpness here of the subject versus the depth of field, it just, even though the colors are very similar, it really stands out. I like it.
There's good detail on the paw too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's the original.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, big difference. Yeah. Very good job.
When you don't have a long enough lens, you crop.
Okay, this was a picture I put together for July 4th. If you read the explanation there, the bottle on the right was made in about 1880. And later on this month, I'm going to enter it into a bottle contest.
Mhm.
The frame in the center was something I made for my parents in the 60s.
Hmm.
And the lower portion of that, there's a picture of my older brother and myself before I was 1 year old.
Hmm.
The flag was a presentation made to me. It was flown in West Covina in honor of my service in Vietnam.
Mhm.
So putting
Very
it all
good.
together for July 4th.
Oh,
Yes.
Excellent, excellent.
Mhm.
And well photographed too.
yeah,
Composition, everything.
the plants in the background are just right.
Mhm.
Yeah, very nice job.
Thank you. That was the original picture.
Yeah, well, the original was protected by.
Okay.
Okay, this is at Laguna Beach. And I saw this old lady. No, shh, quiet. She's
Oh,
here.
no.
I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. There's, I was walking around. We grabbed lunch here at this place. I really like this place. Can't think of the name of it right at the moment. It's in Laguna Beach. And so I got up and walked around taking pictures. And I saw this guy was sitting at a table nearby. So I just sat down, started talking to him and tell him I wanted. I was going to ask him if I could take his picture. And as I started to phrase that, he says, "You can take my picture." But it was difficult. He's wearing a red shirt. He's sitting under a red umbrella. So it took some processing magic to make it, without doing it, his face was red. Now I lost in doing that, I lost some of the redness from the shirt, but I thought it was more important to get the face closer to skin tone.
Well, yeah, the wrinkles in the neck really stand out too.
Yeah. He's semi-retired lawyer. And just as we were getting up to, as I got up to leave and May was getting up to leave, I said, "Oh, this is my wife." And he says, "Well, take really good care of her. You don't want to lose her." He just was recently divorced, and he was kind of, in our conversation, you could tell he was very sad about it.
Looks like Leslie Nielsen from Airplane.
Yeah,
So
This
yeah,
is a cool shot.
yeah, he lives in our neighborhood.
He's what?
He lives in my neighborhood. He's a very cheerful
Uh-huh.
guy. You know, he's always got a smile on his face.
You know, I tend to shy away from that kind of pose, or I try to get people to not to unpose, so to speak, but it really works with him.
Mhm, mhm.
It's very infectious.
And this guy's a cop. I've known him for a long time. LAPD. Goes to Pete's occasionally. That's where I've met
Yes.
him.
Whoa, John. That's a great shot. You still there,
That's
John?
the crop picture, and I put it on I rotated it to give it a different dimension, and it brought out what I was really trying to get, which was that wasp.
Hmm.
And that's the before.
Oh, wow. Yeah. You hardly notice it that in this picture.
Yeah,
Another Laguna Beach.
Yeah.
scene.
The beach life.
These are the junior lifeguards at Laguna Beach.
Great perspective.
Yeah. Is there a reason they start out with so many because of loss? The
Actually, this was their last day of training.
uh,
So I don't know how many dropped out, but apparently not too many.
hmm.
It's like a summer camp.
Yeah.
My kids went through that in the Long Beach
Uh-huh.
program. Excellent program.
my daughter for about 20 some odd years was one of their instructors at Huntington Beach.
Mhm.
Oh,
This is another great beach picture. Okay, this is again in Laguna Beach, and the guy was sitting on a bench with his dog. So I was walking along and I sat down on the bench next to him, and I says, "This is a beautiful dog. Can I get his picture?" So I got down fairly low at his level, and it took about 5 shots before I got one where dogs just don't understand the concept of you want to take their picture. But worked out. I really like this one.
Yeah.
And these were also in Laguna Beach, but these dogs, I almost didn't post this because these dogs are not pretty.
No.
And this guy was asleep, and so was his dog. This one, it looks like I'm high up, but I was down about as low as I could get.
Mhm.
Very small dog,
Mhm.
but really nice looking face.
That's
This
cute.
one, this lady was carrying this dog, and I just walked, I saw her from maybe, as I approached her, I says, "Oh my, look at that dog. I got to get a picture of your dog."
Mhm.
And I left her as much, I got fairly close, and I liked leaving enough of the image that you know she's holding the dog.
Yeah.
mhm.
Oh, somehow why is this popping up again? Oh, this, I was thinking of this for a lesson. This is the picture. And then I imported it. I changed to landscape, did some some cropping, changed the angle, adjusted the highlights, adjusted the shadow. These are the steps in order that I went through this with this picture until exported it. That I may use that for a future class. This is a picture within a picture, a frame or framed, whatever. And this is before I process. This is out of the camera. This is Kevin.
Yeah, this is up at Pismo Beach. This is for the cropping. They got one monarch butterfly in the picture. I was like, there was a full parking lot of cars, people walking around, and only one monarch butterfly anywhere.
Mhm.
Hmm.
And this was another picture in a tide pool before cropping. And then afterwards,
What are these called?
Sea
sea
anemones.
anemones.
Oh,
Another squirrel from Mono.
Here's looking at you.
Yeah,
it's, so squirrels, it's real easy. If you're in the vicinity of a squirrel, it's most likely going to look at you. Whereas a dog will ignore you.
yeah. Unfortunately, too many people feed these. This is kind of a before and after cropping and
Yeah.
developing. But
That's nice.
That looks like it'd be a good start for a meme of some sort. Not sure what to say on it, but it's got a, hey, you looking at me, or, you know, some kind of thing.
yeah, unfortunately, what he's looking for is peanuts, and he's asking, "Do you have any peanuts?"
In the park near my house, I've got signs everywhere not to feed the squirrels, the ducks. And I see people doing it all the time, and I cringe. I say, should I interrupt them? Should I tell them don't do it? They don't understand that it's not good for the animals.
Yeah, that's kind of the two. It represent a portrait module versus a vertical module as far as your cropping.
Mm.
That's nice.
This is also
Clean,
from
yeah.
our Old Town Orange. Coming up, I think we took that before the 4th of July holiday, and that just reminded me of a 4th of July fireworks burst.
Yeah, it does. Very good. And we did have a good sky that day.
Yes, we did.
I arranged that. What was this about? I think it was I found this, yeah. This has to do with cropping. This is a few years ago. And I'd never done, and of course I didn't take the picture, but I ran across it and tried cropping it.
Is that Vegas?
No, it's Disney World in Florida.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's right. I remember the caption.
Yeah, I didn't really enjoy that. Disney World. Whoa.
I put these together at the composite, but basically everybody seems to be on cell phones nowadays. And I just wonder whimsically, what did we do before cell phones? This is a before and after cropping. I think this is the after. When I walked down the street, what caught my eye, not so much the house, but the fact that the trellis was sort of falling down and leaning to the camera left. So I wanted to kind of get the juxtaposition between the straight horizontal siding of the house with the trellis falling over. And by cropping it, I think it emphasized that even more.
There aren't many houses in Orange that are this run down.
No.
So it's probably going to get restored.
So that's the Bowling Green at Laguna Beach.
I think this is, John, this is a marvelous job of composure on this.
Simplistic background all around.
Yeah.
Bocce ball.
Yeah. It. I would have liked a greener lawn, but maybe they're cutting back on the watering. And I couldn't see how to get it greener without ruining the people in the picture.
Now, where was this?
It's there in Laguna Beach. It's just up on the bluff. It's quite a large Bowling Green area.
I
It's
missed
been there
that.
forever.
Hmm.
If you know where Las Brisas restaurant is.
Oh, yeah, I've been there many times.
Yeah, and you just go a block or two west of there.
Ah, yeah, okay.
There you are.
You cropped that just perfectly with this group of balls behind the guy that was actually getting ready to throw the ball.
Yeah.
That really adds to it.
Yep.
Done a good job. Seen by 12 and only 4 people liked it. I don't understand. It's a great picture.
Oh, that
Um,
was just a test of exposure compensation.
Squares and rectangles.
Oh, that's right. There's probably 5 of these.
I like your use of the tree as a vignette.
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah, this is just a little bit too much compensation.
This-
Definitely.
Mhm.
Let me give you my vote. That's, let me look at those again. It's a little too dark. This could be really made to look good in post-processing. That one's back to a little dark. This also with post-processing, pretty good. That's too much.
Again, this is the cropping challenge. This is one of the restaurants down there at Old Town Orange.
Mhm.
There was a little bit too much at the bottom, I thought, and a little on the left side. I brought back in the left side. This one was cropped and slightly lightened to emphasize the BBQ neon sign at the bottom. I believe this
I
is
like this
after,
one most. Yeah.
and there's the before. Just bringing in the edges a little bit.
Okay, we could go on, but it's 4:11.
Mhm.
Is everybody ready to call it quits for the weekend? Or do you want to keep
Sure,
going?
yeah, sure.
Yep.
Sure, but.
Great images, everybody. Good,
Yes,
good
This is
pictures
fun.
this time.
Yeah.
yeah, keep posting. We want to see your pictures.
Yeah, I really learned by looking at everybody's photographs. So everybody keep posting and hopefully post more.
I normally wouldn't do this, but I'm tempted to go to the Long Beach Pride Parade on Sunday morning just because I think there's going to be some characters.
Oh, yeah. I'm
Oh,
going. It's a great event.
where it's
You
going to be in
want color.
Huntington Beach?
Yeah.
No, Long Beach.
Yeah.
Oh, in Long Beach. Yeah,
Yeah,
send me the
It's
location.
Pride Week, I guess, down by the convention center or someplace. But they go along Ocean Boulevard. When I first had kids out walking, I was surprised. I heard, a parade going on Ocean Avenue there, and we were down on the bike path, and I hauled these 2 little kids up, one in a stroller, and one by hand, came up on one of the parks, and there was a whole bunch of guys there making out. I'm going, oh no, this is not for me.
Don't drop the bar of soap.
Yeah, yeah. But I'm really tempted to go down there on Sunday morning. It starts at 10, just because I know there's going to be some wild costumes.
Well, there's some without costumes too, naked people just because they want to.
Oh yeah, yeah.
10 o'clock, can you email me where it's going, exactly where it's going to be? You say it starts at 10 and parking suggestions. I might try and go. It's,
Yeah,
we'll see what else. I'm not sure what else I got going on this weekend. So,
you need to get there early because I've gone in the past and I found myself parking almost a mile away because
oh,
parking is always a problem in Long Beach, but
Yes.
on that day in particular. So if you got there by 9 o'clock, you might find a space.
Yeah, no, that was the only thing I'm hesitant about. But
What about
Anyway.
us?
I thought I'd bring it up just to
What do
start
I-
posting stuff. That's why.
Have a
it's,
great weekend, everybody.
yeah, enjoy your
You too.
weekend.
Now,
And don't forget the Austrian Grand Prix is this weekend.
Yeah.
It'll take me a while to
Very
get
good.
over